Yeah. In the SQL Server, we will have databases. In the databases, we will have database is nothing but collection of file groups and log files. So file groups, in the file groups, we will have data files. File group is nothing but collection of data files. Okay, so if you go inside the data file, you will have an extent. Okay, you will have an extent in the data file. So if you go inside the extent, you'll have pages. So page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. Page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. Whenever you are creating any table, at the end of the day, the table will be created on a page. So when you are calling the table, the associated pages of the table will be loaded into the memory. So this is how the data you are able to see on the screen. I mean to say the SSMS and all. When you run select star from employee, so the associated pages of employee table will be loaded inside the memory cache. So from there you can able to see the data. So page is a basic storage unit. Page size is 8 KB. We cannot resize the page. Okay, so page is not shareable, guys. Page is not shareable. One page is equal to one table only. On a page, you can create one table. If that page is not sufficient to the table, if the table is growing, then SQL Server will allocate another page from the extent. So extent is nothing but collection of 8 continuous data pages. We have two types of extents, mixed extent and uniform extent. Mixed extents means all the pages belongs to different objects. Object is nothing but table again. So how many maximum tables I can create in a mixed extent, guys? Can anyone tell me how many maximum tables I can create in a mixed extent? Guess it, guess it,
8.
guess it.
37,000
Eight.
some unique number.
8.
Okay,
Eight.
32,000, you're saying?
Yeah, some unique number.
That unique number, whatever I said, like 32,000, so you are applying the same formula to everything, huh? Hmm? Guess it, guys. Guess it. How many maximum tables I can create in a mixed extent?
8.
Okay. What about others? Bhagya, Charan, Dharani, Madhu, Mahesh, Padma, Sandhya, Prem, Teddy. Again, I am repeating my words. Mixed extent means all the 8 pages belongs to 8 different objects. Uniform extent means all the 8 pages belongs to single object. So now tell me, in a mixed extent, how many maximum tables I can create?
8.
8.
8. Okay, so the answer is 8, not 32,767. 8. Why? Because each page is one table, guys. Each page is one table. One table, table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, table 5, 6, 7, 8. In the mixed extent, all 8 pages belongs to 8 different objects. So that's why maximum I can create 8 tables in a mixed extent. And uniform extent means maximum how many tables I can create in a uniform extent, guys?
Table.
1.
Padma is saying something.
1.
One table.
One table, okay. So uniform extent means all the 8 pages belongs to a single page. So that's why it is called a uniform. So single table in the sense, right? One table we can create, maximum only one table we can create, guys. So whenever you are creating any table, SQL Server will allocate a page from which extent, mixed or uniform?
Mixed.
A page from the mixed extent. Why? Why it will allocate a page from the mixed extent? why SQL Server will allocate a page from the mixed extent? Very simple question I'm asking.
Can you repeat once
So,
again, please?
when you create any table, SQL Server will allocate a page from the mixed extent. True or false?
True.
True only.
True. So why it will allocate a page from the mixed extent?
We selected
spa-
by default, I think, mixed extent.
What is the main purpose? By default, true. That is true by default. What is the main purpose of it?
to solve
To
the
reduce
space issues.
page.
If the table grow in
To
the
save the
memory.
storage. To save the
Yes.
storage. Very simple thing is to save the storage. Otherwise, if it is allocating a uniform extent, page is a basic storage unit. Extent is a basic dash unit. Storage is page is a basic storage unit. Extent is a
Allocation unit.
very good allocation unit. So if it is allocating 8 pages to a small table, if the table is not growing, other 7 pages are going to be wasted. So to avoid that wastage, by default, SQL Server will allocate a page from the mixed extent initially. If the table is growing, the subsequent allocations will be uniform extent. What is the size of the uniform extent, guys?
64 KB.
64
What is the
KB.
size of the mixed extent?
Same, 64 KB.
Same 64.
Are you sure?
8 KB.
Akka?
Yes.
Yes, 64 KB.
Yes, Anna.
Very
Yes,
good.
Anna.
Okay, extent size is 64, mean uniform or mixed, the size is same. So extent size is 64 KB, guys. Right. And we have already discussed about the purpose of log file and data file. So whenever any transaction is coming from the application, so initially the transaction will goes to the database log file. So log file is a temporary storage area. So log file will capture around 108 attributes of each transaction for recovery process and all, for recovery purpose and all. So once the transaction is committed, when inserting the transactions, you can insert committed transactions, uncommitted transactions. So if the transaction is committed, so whatever data is there inside that transaction, only the data will be moved to the data file. So the data file is a permanent storage area, whereas log file is a temporary storage area. Until the data is going to be written to the data file, temporarily it will store in the log file. Once it was written to the data file permanently, the same transaction will be truncated from the log file, guys. So because of this purpose, we have two files. One is log file, second one is data file. So without these two files, we cannot create the database. That is the by default, okay, behavior of the SQL Server, guys. Fine. So
So,
yes,
like when you say commit, that's you execute commit, right?
yes.
If you don't, I guess you did you execute this the insert command.
Mm.
When the data will move from the command will move
It will
from
not
the
until you fire a commit statement. It will not move to the data file. Years it will be there in the log file until you fire a commit statement. Okay, it will not move until you restart it. It will not move to the data file. That is the difference between committed and uncommitted. But you can still see in the table. Okay, so don't think the data that is moved to the data file only you can see in the table. For example, in an employee table, there are 10 records and you just inserted 10 committed transactions, right? I'll tell you what is the difference between committed and uncommitted. So how to commit the transaction also we'll discuss, guys. And two more uncommitted transactions you inserted. So when you run select star from employee, total 12 records you can see. Even though the data is there in the log file, still you can see the data that is called isolation level. So we have different types of isolation levels, guys. Okay. So because of the isolation level, the default isolation level is read uncommitted data. So even though the transaction is not committed, still you can see the data in the table. But it will be permanently stored only when you commit the transaction. Okay, Alsifa?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So now let's
Hello, I have one doubt.
Yes, Jamir.
Yeah, in that log file, we have two files. Uncommitted data will be stored in the log file. Is there any, for example, I didn't commit it for more than 10 days or 100 days. In that case, any threshold value will be there?
No threshold value. Until, see,
Even
if it is not committing means there is a chance of growth of log file. See, until you commit, it will hold it in the log file. It is holding means what? It is using the space. So there is no threshold until you restart it. Okay, there is no threshold. There is no particular threshold. This many days only it can be in the log file, nothing like that. Until you restart. Once you restarted, the log file depends upon the transactions. Again, the log file will truncate it if it is not, if it is uncommitted transactions and all.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We got
Shan-
another
Shanmugh?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, what is the difference between like commit and complete?
Commit, complete, you cannot compare both. What is this complete? I don't know what is this complete. Commit and uncommit, okay, we can compare. Both belongs to same. I mean, the same behavior, almost same behavior. But commit complete means what? Complete means what?
If any transaction or any query,
Completed means maybe the other word. Generally, we don't use complete word. I mean to say, if that transaction is completed successfully, maybe that is a committed transaction only, but it's not like complete. We don't use the word of complete.
okay, so commit means almost similar to complete.
Complete only. There is no complete word in the SQL server. I mean to say, the terminology, we don't use it for the transactions. The complete terminology, we don't use it for the transactions. Commit means maybe in your view, maybe somewhere you read completed means committed transactions only.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt. So how to identify which is committed and uncommitted data?
So using custom scripts, you can do that. You cannot directly go and see. Using custom scripts, you can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we
Right.
view log file inside the data? How many records are there? How
We
many
can
pages?
see. We can see. We can see DBCC
Okay.
page info. DBCC page info will give you how many pages are there for every table. It will track. So going
Thank you.
forward, okay, depends upon the situation. I'll show you, okay. But that is extra cheese that you have to explore. On which page, what kind of data is stored also, we can see. Right. Any other questions, guys?
So this will be like not good practice to not commit the transactions, right, from the developers, and that can cause
See,
any issues.
they are, yeah, developers, they are going to do lot of developers in the sense they are going to develop the things. So multiple ways they are going to use. That's why they are going to commit some transactions. They don't commit some transactions just to practice purpose. They will wantedly, they just want the transaction to be an uncommitted transaction. So that is their practice. Okay. So there's some transactions, okay, everything is modified, everything is cleaned, so we can commit this transaction, then they will commit. Otherwise, they'll practice it like with uncommitted transactions and all. Okay, so generally developers, yes, they will use, guys, we don't use committed or uncommitted. For DBA, everything is same only. Just to understand the terminology and all, as you are into the DBA, so you should know what is committed and what is uncommitted. We don't use this committed or uncommitted 99%. If developers comes to us with any problem, then only we should have an idea what is committed, uncommitted and all. That's it. Okay.
And what will be the impact when the log file when it grows, like a lot of data there? What will be the impact? Can it cause slowness in the system?
Yes, depends. See, the uncommitted transactions doesn't, okay, what I can say, create any performance issues. But too many uncommitted transactions also not good. Why? Because the log file will keep on, it will be full. Uncommitted transaction means it will hold it in the log file temporarily. So if you have multiple transactions without commit means the log file size will grow automatically. Immediately it will grow. So space management and all will be difficult. Okay.
Restart
Hello.
a database until it's communicate this with the developers, right? With the other
Yes,
guys.
yes, developers, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
As
yes.
you told that in log file we can check who is the details also, who is the user also we can check.
User you cannot see, okay, but user it will track that. Again, you need lot of custom scripts for that. But we can use normal queries only to see which user is firing what kind of queries, what kind of tables they are using. That and all we can track it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Fine. Okay. So now, guys, so let's start the discussion. Okay. So we'll discuss about the system databases. So what is a system database? How many system databases are there? How we will get the system databases? What is the use of each system database? Where we can see? Okay. So all these things will be discussed, guys. When you install SQL Server, generally you will get system databases. So no need to create any system databases, guys. It won't even allow you to create the system databases also. So in SQL Server, total 5 system databases are there. Okay, in SQL Server, total 5 system databases are there. First one is master, second one is model, third one is MSDB, fourth one is tempdb, and the fifth one is resource DB. Okay, what is this, guys? Resource DB, master, model, MSDB, tempdb, and resource DB. So what master will do, what model will do, what MSDB will do, what tempdb will do, and what resource DB will do, we'll discuss, guys. So when you expand databases, you can see system databases. When you expand databases, system database separate folder will be there and user databases will be there. There are 2 types of databases. One is system database, second one is user database. System database means the databases that you will get it when you install the SQL Server. With the system, we will get the SQL Server system databases, guys. The databases that we will get it when you install the SQL Server. So is called system databases, guys. Okay. So we have 5 system databases. So in these 5 system databases, 4 system databases you can see in the SQL Server. 4 system databases you can see in the SQL Server. Master, SSMS, okay, master, model, MSDB, tempdb. These are all the 4 system databases that you can see visible. Shanmuki said 5 system databases, right? The last one is resource database, right? Where is the 5th system database? So that is a hidden database. That resource database you cannot see in the SQL Server Management Studio, guys. Okay, 5th system database is a resource system database, resource DB. So that will be hidden database. You cannot see. But Shanmukh, where I can see, I'll show you where you have to see. Right, so let's discuss one by one. Let's start with master. See, guys, this is very important question. They will ask you questions on system databases. How many system databases are there? What is the impact? What is the use of each system database? So they might ask questions on this. Okay. So master, you can, okay, you can easily understand master. It's a very crucial system database. It's a brain of the SQL Server. All the system objects related information will be stored in the master database, guys. It will store other system databases and user databases and files of each database. Information again, don't think in the master other databases will be there. People generally, it's a kind of a myth, People will think in the master, other databases will be there. Master is a separate entity, other databases are separate entity. As it is a master database, it knows, for example, if you are a teacher, you should know each student, like you should know the details of each student. That is your responsibility. So here also the same thing. Master contains all the SQL Server configuration information. Okay, whatever SQL Server configuration, right? SQL Server configurations information also will be stored. Configurations. Okay. Configurations in the sense server level settings. SQL Server configurations also will be stored in the master, guys. Also will be stored in the master. So master knows about that particular database and master knows about other system database files and all. For example, these 4 files are mandatory. These 4 system databases are mandatory to start the SQL Server. But when you start it, each system database will have its own files, right? Each system database will have its own files. So master knows model database files. For example, if you go and see here, model database file paths, files. And where is the file located, guys? In this path. Control C, Windows R, Control V, hit enter. You can see model database data file. So when you see model database, this one, when you see model database, when you are starting the SQL Server, master knows the path. You can see, right? This path of each database will be stored in the master DB. So when you start the SQL Server, master will check whether in this path the files are existed or not. If files are existed, then only it will start the SQL Server. So master knows other system databases files, locations of each system database and user database also. If master is corrupted, there is no SQL Server. If master is corrupted, no SQL Server. We can't start the SQL Server or SQL Server won't be started. Okay, we can't start the SQL Server, guys. That is the importance of the master. Master is the brain of the SQL Server. Master will store the SQL Server configurations, settings related information. Master also will store the logins and passwords information. So master database will store the logins and passwords information also will be stored in the master. It knows about all the other system databases and user databases. It knows about the files of each database. Okay. It will contain server level configurations information and all will be stored in the all the SQL Server metadata information also will be stored in the master. If there is no master, there is no SQL Server, guys. That is the importance of the master database. Is it clear, everyone?
Yeah, I have one doubt. Logins means?
Logins means, so you are an Oracle DBA.
Yes, yes.
So how people will connect to the Oracle database?
Sessions.
While connecting, when you connected, it will give you a session. But
Yes.
when you are connecting, what is your name?
My name is Zamir.
I mean to say, when you are connecting, you are going to enter the details, right?
Yes.
So Zamir, with the Zamir account, you will connect or some system, I mean.
No, with Zamir only I will connect.
Correct. So that Zamir is a login. Which account you are using to connect to the server, that is called a login.
Yes, I have. Here the doubt is logins will be the different modes. As you told, the system master is the system main metadata. I have so many databases like batch 56, some 2-3 database. It will store these all login details there.
That is database. Don't mix database and logins.
Okay.
Login in the sense it's an entry that will allow you to connect to the server. Login is not equal to database. Database information, anyhow, it will store. Other databases,
No.
now we have, see, first.
Yeah, I will repeat one more time. My
please.
Query is, I have one database, custom database. It means it's nothing but user database.
Okay.
It is also, I can do logins. There also I can create users.
Wait. The confusion here is login is different, user is different. Okay. Login is not equal to user. In the SQL Server, When you, I'll explain in the security session. Okay, login is an entity which will help you to connect to the SQL server. This information will be stored in the master database. Whatever you can see now, administrator is there. It's a login. I am using this account. Login in the sense it's an account. So this account will have a username and password. That information will be stored in the master database. So don't mix again databases and logins. So either logins or databases. It will store other user databases information, logins information also it will store, and even the passwords information also it will store in the master database. Okay. Right. So
Thank you.
that is the use of the master database, guys. Very crucial and very critical system database master. So if master is corrupted and all, then okay, SQL Server will not be started. So you have to fix the issues and all. You have to fix it. There are multiple ways you can replace the master backup files, physical files. So all these things we can do that to fix it. That we can be like it will be separate discussion. So that is the use of the master database, guys. Fine. So if you go to model is a template for the newly created database. Model will act as a template for the newly created databases. So now when I am creating a new database, if you simply give the name of the database, Lulu, I'm just simply giving the name of the database, Lulu Malls, right? And when I click OK, it will be created. But who is telling guys, hey, data file, okay? One data file should be added, one log file should be added. The data file should goes to primary log file, primary file group, and the data file size should be 8 MB. Log file size should be 8 MB. Auto growth will be 64 MB unlimited, 64 MB unlimited, and by default it has to store in this location. And these are some of the options. 150 compatibility level, collation settings. Some of them are true, some of them are false. I didn't select any of these values, right? Right? Simply I just gave the name of the database and I'm clicking OK. And all these values by default you are getting. From where we are getting these values, guys? From where we are getting? You can guess it now.
Model.
Model
Database.
Model. You know that model means role model. So role model means we'll try to imitate him. So whenever you are creating a new database, whatever default in the morning session we discussed using a script, lot of 84 lines of script is there to create the database. But we just created a database with a simple 3 words, create database name. What about other 83 lines? All the other parameters will be provided. SQL Server will provide these parameters by default, I told you. So from where it is giving? From model only. From model only. You see here, if you don't believe me, initial size 8 MB, 8 MB you can see, right? I'm going to create it. So the database will be created. Now what I'll do, I'll go to model database properties and files, and here I'll give 81 MB, guys. 81 MB, and here I'll give 18 MB. Auto growth, I'm going to change it to in percentage 10. Okay, limited to 100 MB. Just changing some of the values, okay, of model. And path also I can change. Okay, I'm just clicking OK. Now I just changed the model database values. See, now I'm trying to create a new database. Now you see what and all values you are getting. Earlier you remember, guys? Earlier you remember what is the initial size of any database? 8 MB.
8.
And log file 8 MB.
8
Earlier
MB.
that was 64 MB unlimited, 64 MB unlimited. Now it was changed to 10% limited and 64 MB unlimited. So now is it clear, guys? Model will simply act as a template for the newly created databases. When you are creating a new database, you're actually renaming a copy of the model database. That's why you're able to create the database that much quickly. Are you getting the point? When you are creating a new database, you are creating a database. You are just renaming a copy of the model database. That's why you are able to database. You are able to create the database quickly. So the model will act as a template for the newly created database. 1 minute, just please 1 minute. హలో ఏమైంది
సార్
ఏమైందండి
కాల్స్ అదే కాల్స్ ఏమన్నా వస్తున్నాయా
ఏంటి సాయి నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను కదా మీరు అంత అన్నిసార్లు అర్జెంటుగా కాల్ చేశారు ఒక మెసేజ్ పెట్టొచ్చు కదా
మీరు కాల్లో ఉన్నారని నాకు తెలియదు
నాకు మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి నేను క్లాస్లో ఉంటాను ఈ టైంలో నేను ఎత్తలేదంటే మీకు అర్థం అయిపోవాలా నాకు ఒకసారి మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి వాట్సాప్లో
అయితే ఇప్పుడు
రైట్ సో మోడల్ database will act as a template for the newly created database, guys. Model database will act as a template for the newly created database. So that's it. There is no more discussion on that. Model will simply act as a template. So whatever values are there of model, the same values will be inherited by other system, no, sorry, not system database, other user databases, guys. Okay, user databases only. The same values will be inherited by other user databases. So this is how the model will work. So now my question is, if master is corrupted, SQL server will not start. Why it will not start? Can anyone tell me? Why it will not start, guys? If master is corrupted, why SQL server will not start?
It contains all database details.
Correct.
The config system is in there.
Correct. Correct. See, I told you one point. Without these 4 system databases, SQL server will not start. Without these 4 system databases, SQL server will not start. If master is not started, other system database also cannot be started. So if other system databases cannot be started, means SQL server also will not be started. Now my question is, if master corrupted anyhow, SQL server will not be started. If model is corrupted, can I start the SQL server, guys?
Yes, we can.
Guess it.
Yes, we can.
What about others? Why 1 or 2 people are only active?
I think no, sir.
No.
At least try it, yes or no, right?
Yes.
No, sir.
We can start.
I think no.
We can start the SQL.
Teddy, what are you doing, man?
No, we can start.
Okay, okay. Great, great. We are working fine.
I think it will not start, sir.
It will not start. Why?
Because it has a location which to run the file we need a LDF and MDF file which has been automatically template created by these files. That's why.
See, that will impact the newly created databases. If the database is already created, how it will impact the other databases? And that too, model is responsible for user databases. If user databases are not accessible, you can start the SQL server, no problem. The user database won't be accessible. It will be impacted, but the whole SQL server will be accessible. Okay, databases, the user databases will not be accessible. So if model is corrupted, it should impact the newly created databases. How come it will impact the SQL server? Good try, Omkar, good try.
Yes, as of now, I am remember this.
Okay, okay. Fine. Any other inputs, guys? Any other inputs, whether we can start or we can't start? Right. So the answer is, yeah, please, Jamir.
Yeah, I think we can start, but we will get some errors maybe.
While creating new databases, huh?
Yes, that is the main point. But services, I don't know whether it will start or not if it is
Okay.
corrupted model.
Okay. So you will get the answer after discussing tempdb. I'll again ask the same question after discussing tempdb, guys. Okay. Fine. As of now, you just hold the question for now, for a while. That's it. That's all about model database. Let's discuss about the MSDB. MSDB is an optional system database. MSDB is an optional system database. So MSDB is mainly responsible for automation. MSDB is mainly responsible for automation. Okay. So automation in the sense, in the SQL Server, we have lot of automated things, like on a regular basis, we have to take the backups, we have to restore the databases, we have to run some application related jobs, we have to run some maintenance related jobs on a regular basis. Last time also we discussed in the last class. Okay. So taking backups of hundreds of databases, thousands of databases manually is very difficult. So we have to use any automation kind of thing. So this MSDB is responsible for the automation. So what and all tools are there in SQL Server to automate? We have jobs, maintenance plans, SSIS packages. These are all some tools that will help you to achieve the automation. So this information, jobs related information, maintenance plans related information, SSIS packages related information will be stored in the MSDB, guys. And log shipping information. Okay, replication information. I'll tell you what is log shipping, what is replication and all. So will be discussed, guys. That is, those things are like high availability concepts. So in the coming sessions, there is a separate session on high availabilities, log shipping, mirroring, replication, clustering, always on. So these are also kind of automation kind of things, guys. So automation related stuff will be stored in the MSDB. So if MSDB is corrupted, can I start the SQL Server, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Others?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So the
Yes,
answer is
but
yes, guys.
we can
Yes,
automate.
you can start. Okay. The automation related things and all will be impacted. That's it. SQL Server won't be impacted. Automation related things and all will be impacted, like jobs and all won't run as per the schedules. Okay, so this is how the MSDB goes.
The existing jobs or just the newly job that you cannot create.
Your voice is breaking, Alsifa.
You hear me now?
I can, but it's breaking sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is all about your MSDB, guys. Okay. Next is tempdb. So the name itself is saying it's a temporary database. Okay. Tempdb is a temporary database, but very crucial database after master database. First is master. The next crucial database is your tempdb, guys. All the data processing will be done in tempdb. All the data processing will be done in tempdb, guys. For example, when you are running a select query, select star from employee. So when you are running that select query, the data of that employee table will be loaded into the tempdb, guys. From tempdb, you are able to read the data. Okay, so that's how, for example, if you are doing something on the table, kind of maintenance tasks like indexing, rebuilding of index, reorganizing of index, processing the data. For example, you are running a select query with where condition. I'll tell you select query with where condition and all. So when you are running select query with where condition, generally it is going to filter the data. So where that results will be stored temporarily, select star from employee, where location is equal to Hyderabad. So I just run a query like this. So I have around 1000 employees, and in that 1000, around 100 employees are there from Hyderabad. So when I run select star from employee, where location is equal to Hyderabad, when I trigger that statement, I can see 100 employees information on your screen. I'll show you. Don't worry, I'll show you. So out of 1000, you can see the 100 records only. What about another 900 records? Are they deleting from the table? No, right? When you are doing shopping in the SEO, you are going to filter the items based on the discount, based on the cost, based on the range, based on the brand, based on the color, based on the size. So when you are filtering it, right? When you are filtering it, depends upon your filters. You can see 1000 items, 900 items.
Your voice is breaking, Shanmugh.
Okay. Guys, is my audio clear? 1 minute. Let me.
Shanmugh, your voice is breaking.
Okay. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. I'm checking. Just I'll reconnect again. Okay, please don't disconnect. I'll reconnect again. Guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, Shanmugh.
Yes, Shanmugh.
Okay.
We can.
Much better.
Yeah. So when we are doing shopping, so we are going to select, okay, some Western wear. So when you selected Western wear, you can see lot of items, okay, lot of around 3,63,768 items are there. But when I am choosing some filters based on the filters that you are applying, earlier 3 lakh items you can see, now you can see 1,55,000, and I'm just adding some brands. Okay, I'm just adding some brands. Okay, something like 69th Avenue, and there are some of the brands Adidas, and we have different brands, right? So Polo, something like that. Okay, so you can see here. Maybe you are just applying some of the brands randomly. Say I'm applying some of the brands. Okay, so when you are applying the brands, okay, and when you click apply, you can see around 2000 items. Earlier, when you just open the men's western wear, you can see 3 lakh something items. When you apply some filters, you can see 2123 items. What about other 3 lakh items, guys? 3 lakh, imagine 55,000 or something like that. When you apply filters 2000, you can see what about 3 lakhs 53,000 items? They are deleted from the table or what? No, right? When you
No.
remove filters, again you are able to see the whole data. Okay, so the items will increase. So when you remove filter, it is going to be increased. That means temporarily it is processing, temporarily it is storing somewhere, temporarily it is giving the results. That temporary place is called your temp.db, guys. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, Shanmugh.
Yes, Shanmugh.
Hello, baby. Good evening. Time को चले चले. Right. So that is the use of the temp.db, guys. So temp.db will be used to store the temporary results. TempDB will be used to store the temporary results, guys. So the data will be stored temporarily in the TempDB. The data processing will be done in TempDB. Okay, and it will store the data temporarily, right? So we have like some global table, local tables, different tables are there. Rebuild and are simply indexing. Okay, what is indexing and all? What is the use of indexes? How many types of indexes? Everything, there is a separate topic in the performance tuning. You don't worry. Indexing and all will be performed in the TempDB, guys. Sometimes they'll ask you in the interviews when you are doing rebuild index, reorganize indexing. So which database will play a crucial role, where the data will be processed? So your TempDB. The processing and all will be done in TempDB only, guys. The processing and all will be done in TempDB only. Okay, so TempDB is very crucial database after your master database, guys. Now tell me, and there is one more feature is there with TempDB. When you restart SQL Server, it will create new TempDB. This is the another advantage of your TempDB. When you restart SQL Server, it will create a new TempDB, guys. Is it clear? Is this point clear? Very important point. So if TempDB and all is corrupted, the simple solution is you have to restart it. When you restart it, it will create a new TempDB. So this is very important point. When you restart SQL Server, it will create a new TempDB. So Shanmukh, what about the data? That is temporary data. So the old TempDB will be deleted and it will create a new TempDB. Fresh TempDB will be created, guys. So this is the main feature of the TempDB, the behavior of the TempDB, guys. Are we good with TempDB? Now tell me, I'm repeating the question of model DB. If my model is corrupted, well, if my TempDB is corrupted, can I start the SQL Server?
Yes.
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 Every time it will
Yes.
create.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the answer is no. Okay, if the temp is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL. Why? Because without processing, SQL Server can't run. It will at least process the system related information. Okay, so for that TempDB is very important. If there is no TempDB, that's why I told you after master database, TempDB is very crucial database. If there is no TempDB, SQL Server will not be started. Okay, this is one important point.
Yeah, but as you told that after every restart it will create new temp file. Then why we require the old file if it is creating new file?
Every time you will restart, huh?
No, I was just asking.
No.
I restarted the database, it is created.
That's true, but when you will restart, you don't go and simply, that is the final option. So don't think like whenever it is corrupted, okay, chalo, Shanmukh said, let's restart. No. There are some ways we'll do. Finally, we'll go for a restart. That's not a first option. That is a last option. First thing. Second thing is, if it is corrupted, when you restart it, it will create a new TempDB, right? When you restart it, it will create a new TempDB. So what it means? So you have to, if the database is corrupted, it cannot process sessions written. Why? Because whatever you are running in the SQL Server, that will run as a session. TempDB is the main system database to help to run your sessions information. Sessions data and all will be stored in the TempDB. So everything will run as a session. So if TempDB is not available, sessions can't run. If session is not able to run, SQL Server can't run. Okay, are you getting the point? So that's how it was related. So TempDB is a very crucial system database after your master database. If there is no TempDB, SQL Server will not start. Or if TempDB is corrupted, see the troubleshooting is different. Yes, if the TempDB is corrupted, you have to restart. It will create a new TempDB. But if there is no TempDB at all, Can we run the SQL server? The answer is no. Okay, is it clear, guys, everyone? Now,
I have a question.
yes, please.
I have when you say when you restart the SQL server, it will create new TempDB.
Correct.
Well, like it will replace existing database, the TempDB database, or how does it work?
That's what it will create a new TempDB means why again it will replace old database? Then it's not a new database. Okay, it will delete the old files, it will clear the old files, and it will recreate the new files.
Okay, so you don't need the right? It won't be needed
Sorry,
because the
voice is
file will be
breaking.
like this. I still breaking?
Yes, it's still breaking.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, sometimes, but sometimes it's breaking.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just go, move forward.
Hello, I
Yes,
have one more
yes,
doubt.
yes, yes.
If TempDB got corrupted, is there any data loss will be happened?
Data loss won't be happened. TempDB, why? Because it will use the existing data to process it. Okay, so until your user databases are safe, there will be no data loss.
Okay, just it is used for sorting only.
Correct. Sorting, you can say sorting and all.
Okay. One more doubt. For example, as you told that we can create 32,000 some databases on every SQL server.
Yes.
For all 32,000, only 110 TempDB will be there.
That you have to tell me. See, your Oracle, there is a
Yeah,
difference.
only one will be there.
Yeah, there is a difference between Oracle and SQL Server. So Oracle is a database centric engine. Okay, every database will act as a server in the Oracle, whereas SQL Server is a server centric engine. So in the server, you will have all these objects. Database is one object, but Oracle is not like that. Database is the main object in the Oracle. Agreed, Jamir? So if you see, I created multiple databases. Can you see a TempDB for each database? No, right?
Only single.
Only one system data. These are all the system database which exist once per SQL instance. One copy per SQL instance. It's not like for each user database, one TempDB will be created. No.
Okay, for 2 TB database, how much temp table space is required?
That you cannot tell. That depends upon the data processing application data. Generally, it will be like 500 GB, 25 percentage you can consider generally. To design it, in case if you want to design, you can go ahead with a 25 percentage of your capacity, of your database capacity.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One request, can you give small break, please?
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Any questions, doubts so far?
No, sir.
Zamir, not like every time we'll go for a break, okay? Mostly after 1.5 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, I'll go for a break, Zamir. It's not whenever you have a work, so I need a break, nothing. It's not going to work like that, Jamir. Okay. So now again, I'm repeating the question. Without model database, can I start the SQL server? So now we discussed about one important point. about the temp DB. So now compare and tell the answer. Without model database, can I start the SQL Server or not?
Yes, we can.
We can start.
No,
Yes,
We can't start. Tell me, guys. Now you just guess it.
no, we can't.
No. Why? What is the reason?
So when we restart the SQL server, MDB is created. So in order to create MDB, model should be there, right?
So in order to create MDB, model should be there. Huh?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I think
You are guessing or you read it somewhere?
I'm just guessing, sir.
Okay. Guys, what about others?
No, we can't start.
Right. So the same answer, Narendra?
Yes, and
Okay. So the answer is correct. We cannot start. Why? Because I told you right one point about the temp DB. Okay, what is that one point? When you restart SQL Server, it will create a new temp database. It is going to create a new temp DB. When you are creating a new temp DB or new database, what are the parameters, guys, that we will give generally? What are the parameters that we will give generally? Name, file sizes, locations, right? So all this data will be inherited from which system database?
Model.
Model. So if model is
Model.
not accessible, can I create temp DB? No. If there is no temp DB, can I start the SQL Server? No. So the answer is A is equal to B, B is equal to C, A
No.
is equal to C, right? So without model, I cannot start temp DB. Without temp DB, I cannot start SQL Server. So without model, I cannot start SQL Server. Is it clear now?
No, here one point is you didn't told that TempDB is corrupted. You told that model is got corrupted, whether you can start MySQL
Zamir,
server or not.
Zamir. I am not saying that TempDB is corrupted. I am still saying that you model is corrupt. Don't go for logic. If model is
Yes.
corrupted, generally when you restart the SQL server, is it going to be started? Started means what? Tell me. If model is corrupted, what I asked, started means tell me. When you start, what will happen?
When
One,
I start my
one minute,
all
just one minute.
databases will work.
Just
I
one
cannot
minute.
create a new database.
Just 1 minute. Just 1
Yes.
minute. Right. Yes, Jamir, please. Jamir. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now we
Now,
can hear you. Voice is a little bit low.
Now is it clear?
Yeah.
I can hear you very well.
Yeah, tell me, Alsifa.
I can hear you loud
Okay,
and
okay.
clear.
Okay, okay. Right. Okay. So now is it clear, guys, about TempDB and model database? So
Yeah. Can you
when
clear one more time? I didn't got till now, please.
I'm not getting you. What it is not clear?
What I didn't got clear is, as you asked question is, when model got corrupted, if my SQL server will start or not? This is your
Yes,
previous
yes,
question.
correct.
As I was thinking that model work is to create the template.
Correct. So my
Whether
question is, if model is corrupted, can I start the SQL server?
yes,
If all
yes,
system
I can.
databases are healthy, we can start, right? No
Which
issues.
one? 1 minute, 1 minute. Can you repeat?
If all system databases are healthy, we can start. There is no logic, nothing, very simple statement.
Yes.
If all system databases are healthy, we can start. If model is healthy, we can start or we cannot start. That is the question, right? If model is corrupted, when you start it, it will create a new TempDB. Agreed? Agreed to this point? When you start the SQL server, it will
Yes.
always create a new TempDB.
Yes, exactly.
Agreed,
Exactly.
right?
It can be.
So
Yes.
if while creating new TempDB, from there from where it will inherit the properties of the location, sizes, and all, from where it will inherit.
Yes, yes, you are right. It will not work.
Right?
From model, it need to take. You are right.
Now it is clear?
Yes, yes. Now it's clear.
Okay, fine. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, yeah. So, guys, what about others? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, Shanmugh.
Okay, fine. So let's discuss about the resource database, then we'll go for a break. Okay, fine. So the last system database is resource database, and model MSDB, TempDB, master, you can see in the SQL server, right, in the management studio. But resource database, we can't see. Okay, it's a hidden database. Resource database is a hidden database. We cannot see. Then how to check the existence of the resource database, Shanmugh? So resource database, generally it will be stored in the Binan location. Okay, so if you just go to this location where we can see all the data files and all, if you go back, there is a folder called Binan folder. And if you go down slowly, you can see two files, extra files. So these two files related to your resource database, MS SQL system resource, MS SQL system resource. Both will show you with the same name, but the extensions will be different. You can see one is data file, second one is log file. Okay, so this one is the data file, this one is log file. How to identify which one is data file, which one is log file, guys, without checking this column? Any idea?
Yeah, it is having like
Very simple. Yeah, very simple.
master is
Using icons. Okay, using icons, you can identify. If you see table icon, that is your data file. Table means permanently storage area. If you see notepad kind of thing, okay, it's a notepad means temporarily will store, right? If you see like notepad kind of thing, that is a log file. Even without expanding this type column also, by just looking at the logos, the icons of these files, we can easily identify which one is data file and which one is log file. So now every database will have two files, right? So even system databases also. That's why this is your system resource database and this is your resource database data file and this is your resource database log file. It is not visible in the SSMS because of the security. Resource database is a kind of Master only. Master and resource generally both are lovers, I can say. Okay? Wife and husband kind of thing. Whatever you are storing in the master, that will be stored logically, but the same information of master will be stored in the resource physically. First point. Second point, resource DB is responsible for storing SQL Server version related information. Version related information. Okay? Version related information. While doing patching and upgrading SQL Server resource DB. Okay? Resource DB will play a crucial role. You are actually updating the resource database, guys. When you are patching or upgrading means you are actually updating the resource database. Because of that security reason, the resource database is not visible in the management studio. We don't do any activities on resource database, just for the subject and information knowledge purpose we are going to discuss. We are discussing this. We don't handle resource DB. We don't deal with resource DB. Resource DB mainly it will store the SQL Server version related information. When you patch it, means when you apply the updates, the version will be changed, right? When you upgrade the SQL Server, the version will be changed, right? So that's why resource DB will play a crucial role in updating the SQL Server. In the interview, sometimes they will ask you which system database is responsible for patching and upgrading. Your resource DB is responsible for patching and upgrading. For extra security, this resource database will not be accessible in your management studio. This will be a hidden database. Clear, guys? Everyone?
Yes, and
So, resource database and master database both are crucial. And after that, your temp DB, then your model is also very important. Of course, without model, the SQL Server will not start. And your last optional system database is your MSDB, guys. That is all about your system databases. Okay. So what we can do, go for a break, come back after 15 minutes, then we'll continue the discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah.